Hey, it's Kalisha from KalishaWare.com, and today we're going to be making a 1-bowl cake. So, for this 1-bowl cake, you're going to need 2 1/4 cups of flour. This is just all-purpose flour. The next thing you're going to need is 1 3/4 cups of sugar. This is just granulated sugar. You're also going to need a 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. You can't see it on this bright white plate, but I assure you it's there. It's a 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda and a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And I'm just going to mix that together real quick just to get my dry ingredients blended. The next thing you're going to need is 3/4 cup of butter. And that's 1 1/2 sticks of butter for those of you who use butter and sticks. So we're just going to add that to the bowl. The next thing you're going to need is 1 cup of sour cream. So we're just going to add in the sour cream. This is full fat sour cream, but if you want to use low fat, you can use low fat. It'll work just as well. So just make sure you get every little bit out of it with your trusty spatula. It's a cook's best friend. You have to break the eggs first. So I'm just going to break them one by one and add them into the mixture. And when you break eggs, you want to be sure that you don't break them on the side or the rim of the bowl. You want to break them on the side of the bowl or break them on the table on a flat surface. When you break the eggs on the side of the bowl, you get a lot of tiny bits of shell, and the shell projects inside of the egg, so it's hard to pick them out. And then after that, you're going to add a teaspoon of orange rind. A lot of people take the orange and rub it on the zester. What I do is I like to flip my zester upside down and sort of rub it against the orange. That way I can see exactly how much zest I have at any given time. And for this recipe, I actually just use the whole orange zest because it's such a nice cake and you want as much flavor as possible. So after I've added all of my ingredients, I'm just going to mix. This cake is so easy because you don't have to cream butter and sugar first. You don't have to sift your flour and add it in alternating with milk. You just start mixing everything together. So that's what I did here, and this is what your batter should look like after it's all done. So when the batter is mixed, I'm going to bring out my cake mold, and this is just a sunflower sort of design cake mold. You can bake this in a bundt pan if you have one of those, and you're going to bake it at 325 for 60 to 70 minutes. You're going to use the same time and temperature for this mold as well. So once you have all of your batter added into your whatever pan you're using, you want to make sure that you spread it out evenly to the edges, because this type of cake has a tendency to sort of mound up in the middle. So if anything, you want to make sure that you have like maybe even a sort of depression in the middle of the cake, because it's going to naturally mound up in the middle anyway once it bakes. So this is what the cake looks like after it's out of the oven. So you want to make sure you touch it and it should spring back on you. If you touch it with your finger and it leaves an indentation in the cake, then it's not done. So you need to put it back in the oven for a few minutes. But this cake is done. So I'm just going to use my wire cooling rack, and I'm going to put it on the cake upside down, and then we're going to flip the cake over. So after the cake is flipped over, we're going to just remove it from the pan. So this pan is actually made out of silicone. So if you notice, I didn't use any spray or any flour on the pan because of the silicone pan. It just peels right off just like a banana peel. Look at that. It's nice and smooth. And look, there's no cake left in the pan. I've had some bundt cakes in the past, y'all. Let me tell you. I had to say a prayer for those. And there will be huge chunks of cake left in the pan. But anyway, And I like this mold too because it's almost like you have portion sizes handy. So remember that orange that we had from earlier that we used the orange zest from? We're going to use the juice from that same orange to make the glaze for the cake. So we just have 1 cup of confectioner sugar or powdered sugar, depending on where you're from. And we're going to measure in 2 tablespoons of fresh squeezed orange juice. You can use lemon juice, you can use water, but you already have the orange. And if you haven't eaten it, you should have the juice. So this is what the glaze looks like when it's all done. It may look like it's not enough liquid to go into that much powdered sugar, but it's enough, trust me. So you just mix it until it's nice and smooth, and you pour it all over the cake. And then you just use a nice little spatula or spoon and you just spread it out however you want to. And let it run down the sides. And this cake is going to be so lovely, it's so delicious. And I hope you enjoy it. So for more video recipes, please visit KalishaBlair.com. Thanks for watching.